In a hypothetical trade situation, Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys says that he would like to be traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also in the video, the Pittsburgh Steelers make a couple roster moves. So, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now let's get right back into it. So, I just want to get this clear first. Just like Cameron Heyward, just like TJ Watt, or any other core piece to their team, Dallas Cowboys linebacker, edge rusher Micah Parsons hopes to finish his career with the Dallas Cowboys, the team that drafted him. Dallas has good reason to keep him around, a star player with versatility to play all over the defensive front and even drop back into some linebacker sometimes. But Parsons, for some reason, if he can't finish his career in Dallas, he'd consider the Pittsburgh Steelers as his top destination. So, the reason why this is important, maybe just a little bit, it's not too important, but obviously looking back at the Aaron Donald situation in terms of where he wanted to finish his career, he always wanted to be an LA Ram, but he's always linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers because he went to school at Pitt and then obviously growing up around the Pittsburgh area, so he was kind of used to being around the Pittsburgh Steelers facility and things like that. And he even said that maybe one day that he would finish his career in Pittsburgh, maybe one day he would play a season in Pittsburgh. It never ended up materializing because he finished his career and retired as an LA Ram, but he's always been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers because of that reason. And when you could be linked to a big star like that, because that's where they would want to be if they're not on their current team, that's always a great sign. Because if they get older and their team that they're currently on doesn't want to pay them a huge contract, the next possible team to go to, sign, or trade to would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And once again, just like Aaron Donald, that's what is happening with Micah Parsons. Because obviously Micah Parsons, he doesn't want to leave the Cowboys. He says, per Clarence Hill Jr., a reporter for the Cowboys, that he feels as though it's important to finish his career with the team, the Cowboys. But he said in a hypothetical trade that he were to go home, he would rather go to Pittsburgh and not the Philadelphia Eagles. And the reason why Pittsburgh Steelers would be his top destination is obviously because he went to school, college at Penn State, and obviously because of Mike Tomlin. So when you could be linked to a top star, even if it has no chance of happening down the road, maybe when he gets older, maybe when the Cowboys don't want to pay him as much, or maybe if he wants out, Steelers would be his top option. So it's always good being linked to these top players, even if right now it has no chance of happening. And also the fact that Micah Parsons even brought this up in an OTA interview is actually huge, because Micah Parsons, he has no problem being patient and waiting on his contract because he is up for a contract extension, and the longer he waits, the higher the market will rise. He fully expects to be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So even though he's being patient and waiting, the fact that he even brought this up in a hypothetical trade situation or hypothetical team situation of where he would want to go being the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a good sign of him just bringing it up on his own. And one last thing before I move on to the next topic of this video, one of the main reasons why he said that he would pick the Pittsburgh Steelers is because of Mike Tomlin. And just recently, in an interview with Van Jefferson, the Pittsburgh Steelers' newly signed wide receiver this offseason from the Rams, the Raiders, he said, and the Atlanta Falcons, he said that he became known right away that the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't had a losing season is because of Mike Tomlin, all the things that he does, all the things that he is motivating the team for, and how good of a head coach is. He says he realized that right away once he got stepped foot in the building, how great of a coach Mike Tomlin really is. So obviously people respect Mike Tomlin around the league. Yes, success in the playoffs is a big thing, but many people say Mike Tomlin, they really like him as a coach and would want to play for him if they could. Many people say that, and yes, we realize he hasn't had much success in the playoffs since winning that Super Bowl back against the Cardinals, but obviously players want to play for him, and that's a huge deal in this league. If the top players want to play for you, you have a better chance of having the top guys come to your team in free agency or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if you haven't won a playoff game since the 2016 season, it doesn't matter who you have on the team. You need to get the job done. You need to win a playoff game. That's actually really bad. Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016, so that needs to happen immediately, and things need to start changing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You could be called a great head coach, but until you start winning, does it really matter if people want to play for you if you can't win games when it matters? TJ Watt, Cameron Heyward, soon they're going to be out of their prime. Cameron Heyward is already out of his prime, but TJ Watt still has years left. So you have to maximize the potential in his prime while he's still here, being the best defensive player of the year of the NFL. So obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers need to start turning things around, but hopefully it starts this season. We all hear about how great of a head coach Mike Tomlin is. Let's see it actually happen on the football field now. But moving on to the second topic of the video, the Pittsburgh Steelers had some roster moves that they did make recently, and here they are. The other day, the Pittsburgh Steelers signed wide receiver Jerry Jenkins to a contract, and in doing so, they had to release one player, and they released and waived injured player cornerback Luke Barku. And I said Luke Barku because he was injured, he probably would clear waivers, and he did clear waivers. So that means that he's not fully released from the team. Now he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers reserve list and injured list, but he's still on the team, just on the injury report list. So he's not actually released by the team. And then also the Pittsburgh Steelers, they signed Cameron Sutton, and meaning of doing that, they had to release one player as well, just for roster purposes. And who did they cut? They cut tight end / wide receiver, who they signed last week on May 29th. So he was barely on the team. But they released Isaiah Gallions. So they signed Cameron Sutton and released Isaiah Gallions. And these are the roster moves that they had to make because of being at the cap roster. One last thing before I end this video, I'll probably make a video on it differently on its own, but Cameron Hayward, he has returned to Pittsburgh Steelers OTAs, and he'll probably be returning to training camp, he says. He doesn't know if it's going to be a hold-in or not, but he has returned to OTAs, and it's great having your leader back on the football field. Obviously, they've been missing that because of him holding out, because of contract situations. He wants like a 3-year extension. He feels as though he could play at least 3 more seasons, but the Pittsburgh Steelers probably are very wary of that, and they might not want to do it because of his injury past and him getting injured every year, feels like now. But he's getting older, he wants a new contract, and he knows he doesn't have that much time left, so if he could secure a contract for 3 seasons, that would probably do him great. Me personally, I would not sign to a 3-year contract. It might be a 1-year contract, but the Pittsburgh Steelers probably will do good by Cameron Heyward just for what he has done in his career with the team, on the field, off the field, and everything like that. But are you paying a guy for what they did, or are you paying a guy what you think they could do in the future? That's what the Steelers really have to think about, what they're going to be doing when paying Cameron Heyward. But overall, Omar Khan will make the right decision on that, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers in general. But overall, this is the news for the Pittsburgh Steelers today. It's not that much. Micah Parsons says that he would like to be traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers if he weren't to finish his career with the Cowboys. He wants to finish his career with the Cowboys. So in a hypothetical, the Steelers would be his next top option because of Mike Tomlin and things like that, and going back home. And also, looking at the roster moves the Steelers made, they cut 2 players. One reverted back to the injured list, and then they signed 2 players as well. And also Cameron Heyward returned. That's the news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on everything going on, and specifically Micah Parsons saying that the Steelers would be his top option if he were to leave. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. No matter what it is, from breaking news, just news and updates, to highlights, reactions, analysis, film breakdown, everything like that, or just rumors, I cover it all. So if you want updates on everything, this is the spot for you. Like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I'll see you guys all later. Until the next video, I'm out. Peace.